Scarface, The World Is Yours has a completely insane premise, so right off the bat, let's just get that out of the way. Okay, remember Scarface the movie? Maybe not, but you probably remember the very end, because it's pretty iconic as far as, like, film history is concerned or whatever. Tony Montana, big drug lord, gets way into coke, takes his eye off the ball, his empire crumbles, and he gets smoked in his mansion by an invading army of thugs. The guy takes a sawed-off shotgun to his back, falls into the water, he's dead, done. This is a sequel to that, where you play as Tony Montana. And to accomplish that, the makers of the game went back and actually rewrote that final scene, so there's no guy with the double barrel coming at you from behind. Instead, it picks up right around the say hello to my little friend part, and you fight your way out of the mansion, and it goes from there. You lose your entire drug empire, clean up your act, get off the coke, and the whole game is about you rebuilding your drug empire, buying front businesses, and doing all this stuff. So it basically wraps up into a neat little GTA-like package. You're basically given an open version of Miami to drive around, but you'll go through each neighborhood kind of one at a time. You start out in Little Havana, and your goal is to really kind of take over the neighborhood. And you do this by either taking out the gangs that are there, but you also need to buy these front businesses that you can move your drugs through. The catch is that each one of the front businesses will have one mission that you need to complete before they'll let you buy it. A lot of these missions are really goofy and don't fit in with anything that Scarface would really be doing or anything that Tony Montana would do. The original movie was pretty rough, gritty subject matter, and the game kind of just makes light of it in a bunch of weird, self-conscious ways. In addition to the missions, there are gangs holding certain territories in each one of the neighborhoods, and that's represented by a little skull on the mini-map. And what you do here is you walk up, there'll be a bunch of guys just kind of standing around doing nothing, and you pretty much just open up on them and start laying them down. You have a lot of different weapons that you can get in the game. You start out with basic pistols, and you get a shotgun, AK-47, you start getting MAC-10s and M16s and bazookas and stuff, but for the most part, the AK-47 really seems to do the job. So you clear out these gangs kind of one at a time, similar to how you cleared out gangs from territories in GTA San Andreas, except these guys will kind of run, like they'll try to get away, and if they get away, then you basically fail the whole process and have to start over. Also, opening up weapons in the middle of the street is what attracts the police. Unlike other games of this type, attracting the police is something you definitely don't want to do because you're accumulating cop heat all the while, and a timer starts to drain. And if you don't get away from the cops before this timer drains, it actually just pops up and says, "You effed up," and then you die. So the whole mayhem aspect that really is a lot of fun in other games like this isn't present at all. A big part of Scarface is earning a good reputation, and how you do this, it's basically points, and the things you do earn you points towards your reputation. And you go up in levels, and that helps to unlock more missions, and which lets you progress the story. It also unlocks more things for you to purchase. You can purchase things like cars and boats to increase your reputation, and that'll do a pretty good job, as well as being actually useful to you, because you need to get around. But on top of that, you can also purchase stuff for your mansion, like a stuffed tiger, and you can actually go in and place them in your mansion using a mode that's called Pimp My Mansion, which does not fit with the Scarface universe in any way, shape, or form, but there you go.
Problem solved, man.
The reputation system has a couple of flaws because it doesn't actually require you to really look after it until you get several hours into the game. That's a real hassle because you want to proceed with the story. It's like you kind of see where it's going, you want to move forward, but oh, wait, no, your reputation level isn't high enough, so you have to sit here and buy every single piece of crap for your mansion and every single car you can get your hands on, and then on top of that, go take over a little bit more territory here and there so that it all works out in the end. You can also deal cocaine in the game. That's a real big way for you to earn money. You'll just kind of run into cocaine, as tends to happen on the streets. And you can take that and you can sell them to street dealers. And that's kind of your first experience with dealing coke. But as you move up the food chain and up the supply chain, you get chances to get kilos, and then you really start to move it on a wider scale. And that's where your front businesses come into play, all the businesses that you purchase along the way. And that's a really good way to get a lot of money, which is really handy in situations where you have to buy 3 more cars and a Pelican or a Flamingo or something to make your mansion pimped. So as you might imagine, a big part of this game is shooting people. You have a pretty wide arsenal, and the shooting's handled reasonably well. You hold down one trigger to lock on to a guy, and it'll only let you lock on to bad guys. And then the other trigger to just blast them. You can use the right analog stick to kind of move your aim around and go for a headshot. But you're actually better off not really using the lock-on system at all, especially once you get like a pretty high-powered fast weapon like the AK-47. You just kind of tilt up a little bit so you're right about at the headline, start pulling the trigger and sweep across a row of guys. You can usually just take most of them out right there. Also, whenever you do that, you earn balls. Yeah, balls. When your balls meter fills up, you can actually hold down the taunt button and you'll go into a blind rage mode that actually makes it like a first-person shooter for about 20 seconds. And in this mode, you're invincible. You auto-lock on to all targets and take them out really, really easily. And also, each kill you pull off, you regain a little bit of health. So it's kind of like a little super meter that when it fills up, you can go into this mode, and it's a really handy mode to have. Visually, Scarface looks pretty good. The game world, looking at Miami, it's pretty good. You can't help but compare it directly to GTA Vice City, though, since that was basically Scarface the game before Scarface was Scarface the game. The Xbox version of the game looks great when you compare it to other Xbox games. The PS2 version still looks pretty good, but it's more the stylistic points of the game that are getting it across rather than the technical stuff, because the PS2 version looks pretty grungy in some spots.
Hey, how's it going? You gonna stand there all day? Huh? Who's your daddy?
On the audio side, the cast is really big and really diverse. There are a lot of names on the cast list you wouldn't really expect. The guy that does the Tony Montana voice is pretty good, and overall most of the voice acting is pretty good.
Hey, what's your problem?
There's a pretty long soundtrack in the game also. You can find the soundtrack to the movie in there and a lot of that stuff. And there's a lot more to it than that. There are tracks from Motorhead and LL Cool J and Run DMC, and the Fat Boys are in there, the Treacherous 3.
I can't hear you, man.
Overall, it's stuff like the mission design and the way you can't really cause the kind of mayhem that you might want to, that really makes Scarface kind of a passable at best sort of game. All the little things here and there about the tone of the game and the flatness of the dialogue, all that stuff really does add up. But at the end of the day, the game just isn't really that much fun. The simple act of shooting is done pretty well, but beyond that, you're looking at kind of a standard kind of GTA clone that kind of fumbles the things that you would want a game that plays similarly to GTA to get right. As a result, you know, it's not really a game that you can wholeheartedly recommend. I think people will have some fun with it, but if you're a diehard fan of the movie, you're probably just as likely to be offended by a lot of the stuff in the game as you are to be excited by being able to play as Tony Montana.
Hey, what's your problem?